off or focus off politics, focus off the shenanigans in Washington, and very much on corporates right now?
Yes, that's right. The political grandstanding took centre stage for far too long over the last 6 weeks or so. And even though the situation hasn't been resolved, at least it's off the table now until around February. What that's meant, of course, is that we can go back to concentrating on the fundamentals. The US third quarter earnings season is starting to peter out this week at just about the same time the UK is picking up. So what we will now start to get is a much clearer picture of what's actually happening on the ground, and ignore some of the noise that we've been hearing politically over those last few weeks.
Sure. I mentioned some of the big banks coming out. Credit Suisse last week struggling on fixed income, struggling on investment banking. Do you think we're going to see the same sort of thing for some of the other big players?
Yeah, and I think a couple of the US banks had a similar kind of difficulties over the last quarter. So certainly the likes of Barclays, for example, you'd expect to have had some similar sort of problems. Maybe RBS to some sort of extent. Even Standard Chartered, who we've also got this week. In terms of the inverted commas UK economy proxy, namely Lloyd's, there are some concerns that there might be a further PPI provision. But I mean, clearly the banks are in a much better position than they were 18 months ago. But this quarter could well prove that they're not quite out of the woods yet.
What's big oil going to show us this week?
Yeah, big oil's interesting. Obviously, we've been hearing about the continuing pressure on the oil price. I think stock specifically, we're going to need to see just how BP is getting on with the Gulf of Mexico, which is far from being over yet in terms of settlements in court, and the fact that it keeps needing to put new provisions aside. Certainly also in terms of Shell, there's been some geopolitical unrest in the likes of Nigeria, which analysts will want to have seen largely removed, even though a stock like Shell, of course, does remain quite attractive in terms of its dividend, given these cash-strapped income times.